Chapter 66. For the leader. A song. A psalm. Shout unto God all the earth. Sing praises unto the glory of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say unto God, how tremendous is your work. Through the greatness of your power shall your enemies dwindle away before you. All the earth shall worship you, and shall sing praises unto you. They shall sing praises to your name. Selah. Come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the river on foot. There let us rejoice in him. Who ruleth by his might forever. His eyes keep watch upon the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. Bless our God, you peoples, and make the voice of his praise to be heard. Who has set our soul in life, and suffered not our foot to be moved. For you, O God, have tried us. You have refined us, as silver is refined. You did bring us into the hold. You did lay constraint upon our loins. You have caused men to ride over our heads. We went through the fire and through water, but you didst bring us out unto abundance. I will come into your house with burnt offerings. I will perform unto you my vows, which my lips have uttered, and my mouth has spoken when I was in distress. I will offer unto you burnt offerings of fatlings, with sweet smoke of rams. I will offer bullocks with goats. Selah. Come and hearken, all you that fear God, and I will declare what he hath done for my soul. I cried unto him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. If I had regarded iniquity in my heart, the Lord would not hear. But verily God hath heard. He hath attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God. He hath not turned away my prayer, nor his mercy from me. All right, we are going to go back up to verse 1. Now, once again, we have a psalm or a song. This is for the leader, once again. God's always the leader. He's always the one who goes forth first. This song begins with a shout. This song begins with a shout unto God. And it's declaring that all the earth should give a shout unto God. So we're going to pick it up here in verse 1. Shout unto God, all the earth. And this shout should be a great rejoicing, because we understand it's all the work of God. It's his doing, every last step of it. Declaring it from the beginning, what the end would be. 2. Sing praises unto the glory of his name. Make his praise glorious. Sing praises in rejoicing. Sing in happiness unto the glory, unto the greatness of Hashem, unto the greatness of the name. Even make his praise glorious. Make his praisings great. In a great way, in a loud, in a shout, in a joyous manner. 3. Say unto God, how tremendous is your work. Through the greatness of your power shall your enemies dwindle away before you. And say unto God, this would be the shout we would make. How tremendous is your work. How tremendous, how great, how mighty, how powerful is the work of God that he's done in the earth. We declare every work of God. But how wonderful and how great is the covenant. How great is the law that he sent forth to divide. To rightfully divide and to give understanding to those who seek righteousness and justice. Through the greatness of your power shall your enemies dwindle away before you. These enemies, those ones that are against God, they come against God. They're against God's understanding. They try to use God's understanding, his knowledge, his wisdom for gain. For gain to themselves, and it should be used to gain yourself for your good, but it shouldn't be used to buy and sell souls or to cage or to trap. This is not a good thing. And these are the enemies of God. These are those that come against God. Idolaters. these ones who are contrary to the law. For all the earth shall worship you. They shall sing praises unto you. They shall sing praises to your name. Selah. All the earth. And we're not going to exclude any. We have to be inclusive of all, because in the end we find out God did it. God did that. That's how God does things. God has the ability to make a people ignorant. God has the ability to open your eyes. God has the ability to open your ears. God says, I do these things. No man does these things. No men have the ability to do it. God's got the keys in the work. God's got the keys in the word, I should say. That's the law. That's the law. He keeps the ways. 5. Come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. Come. Come, see the works of God. Behold what he's done. Think about it for a little while and look around. God is magnificent. God is marvelous. And we're going to find out everything God does is for your good, for the righteousness, for the good of the righteous, I should say, for the just, those that are observant to God's understanding, those that observe God's law. We'll find out. It's not a hard thing. It's a simple thing. Most people say, well, we don't have to obey the law. Somebody's lied to you. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. He is terrible. This word terrible doesn't get it with me. Terrible means he's horrible to my understanding, but or we could think of it as he is magnificent in his thing. The word is yareh, and what it means is to revere, to be awesome, to cause to stand in awe, and that's what God does. He causes all the earth to stand in awe of his great works. And he did this for all the children of men, those that come forth from men. We're not going to exclude any. He's done it for everybody. God said with a mighty hand, I want you to know, he said, I am God. I want you to understand it once and for all. 6. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the river on foot. There, let us rejoice in him. He turned the sea into dry land. The sea's the waters. The sea's the waters. He brought forth that dry land. He brought forth that place for you to stand. He raised up the land from the waters. God did that. He gave you a place to stand. It's the law. That's the law. Stand there. In the midst of all the understandings of the earth, that's the seas that are salted, they ain't no good. Stand there. That's that firm place God made, the law. The Torah, I like to refer to it. That's what it is. It's the Torah. This river, he turned the river. They went through the river on foot. That's what crossing the Jordan. That's right where we ain't going nowhere. See, that's where we're really at. We're still crossing the Jordan. The priests are going to bring their feet up out of the waters. That Jordan rivers, those are waters that descend. They come down from God. They come down from God and his understanding. That's God's understanding descending there. And we come through on dry ground. God did that. God stayed the waters. He held the waters back so that we could cross over, get into the promised land. That place that separates, the river's going to separate. 7. Who rules by his might forever? His eyes keep watch upon the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. Who rules by his might forever? God does it. By his power, by his strength. Elohim, the might of the mighty one. He is the power. He's the strength. He is the ability. God is. And it's by this that he does these things. We'll find out God is ever merciful. God is ever understanding. God has brought this darkness upon the earth. God does that. It's a period of night. It's a period of darkness. We'll find out there's the morning comes. The morning comes. And that's understanding coming forth. That's the light of God shining. Bless our God, you peoples, and make the voice of his praise to be heard. Bless our God. He is God, you peoples. And we're talking about all the nations. We're talking about the Goyim. Some people call them the heathen. We're talking about everybody. Everybody. Because God's covenant went out with humanity. Went out to humanity. Sure, somebody had to be responsible to bring it. Somebody had to receive it, to bring it to everybody. But it's there in that darkness. It's there in that dry place. It's the water. See, it is the nourishment that God give. And make the voice of his praise to be heard. Lift up your voice now unto him, unto his understanding, his knowledge, and his wisdom. We'll find out to observe God, to try to emulate God's presence in the earth. 9. Who hath set our soul in life, and suffered not our foot to be moved. But God did set our soul in life. This soul, this being, this spirit, that's one that's speaking to you. See, the man's not speaking to you. It's not this flesh and blood speaking to you. It's the one from inside. This is the soul. This is my life. And he suffered not our foot to be moved. He didn't suffer our foot to be moved. He held us firm. He gave us a place to stand. He said, stand here. And that's the agreement. God said, I give you place. I give you place. 10. For you, O God, have tried us. You have refined us as silver is refined. And we'll find out this to be proven. That's another way to say refined. It's to be proven. And God done that. God tried us. God put us in the fire. The fire is the judgment to show you. I'm God, he says. I'm God. Do this. And you don't get that. That's the cursing portion of the law. So you get over here in the blessing. Do this for your own good. See, that's what you desire. That's what you want. Just like silver is refined. And the silver is always that. It's a generation. It's the generation that the law's working in. See, it's the refining it, bringing it forth. 11. You did bring us into the hold. You did lay constraint upon our loins. You brought us into the hold, that net, that trap. God did that. See, God brought you into it. Why? Why would God bring you into a trap? God's going to show you he can deliver you from there. God has ability even. God delivers you to the might of it, so he can deliver you from it, to show you even from the mighty one. He has power over all of it. God is the might. He is the strength, Elohim. You laid constraint upon our loins. To lay constraint upon our loins is to hold us back. But we'll find the King James Version says affliction here. You laced affliction upon our loins. And this affliction is just that. It is the affliction. And, of course, the loins here, we can look at it like that. But what it causes is God causes us to bear. God causes us to bear it. Like a child, we have to bear this affliction, so to speak. Carry it around just like you would carry a child. Women carry their child on their hip. And this is a simile to that, because not that the child's affliction. Don't get me wrong there, but this is a similitude. That's how we bear our affliction. We got to carry it around. It's like a child or something we've given birth to. But we'll find out God has the ability to deliver. God has the ability to bring you out of the net from bearing that burden, from bearing that affliction. It's an example. God says, I've used you. And when God uses you, you become holy unto the Lord. It's 12. You have caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but you didst bring us out unto abundance. You have caused men to ride over our head. That's to rule us. To rule us. They've over our heads. That's to be in control of us, so to speak. We've went through the fire, through the water. We've went through the judgment, through the understanding, getting the knowledge out of it, learning by error and mistake. Obviously, because nobody taught us anything. But that's what happens. That's what happens when we abandon our children. That's what happens when we give up on the next generation. Say, oh, just as long as things are good in my day. I call it the Hezekiah effect. See, that's what I call that, the Hezekiah effect. That's where you think just as long as everything's okay, as long as I've got everything I need, we really don't care what happens after we die. But I do. I do, and so does God. But, we'll find out sooner or later. There's going to be a generation that wakes up and has some understanding. 13. I will come into your house with burnt offerings. I will perform unto you my vows, which my lips have uttered, and my mouth has spoken when I was in distress. I will come into your house. I will sanctify myself. I will make myself clean, that I may enter. That is the whole task anyway, see, to wash my hands, to cleanse myself, so I can go in and make offerings, make atonement for my sin, even these burnt offerings. I will perform unto you my vows. These things that I have promised to do. We'll find when I was in distress, I bowed unto God, and I will fulfill the vows of my lips, which I have uttered, and that which my mouth has spoken, what I pour out, for what God has done for my soul. 15. I will offer unto you burnt offerings of fatlings with sweet smoke of rams. These burnt offerings, once again, these things that have passed through the fire, they are unto God. God give the glory of it. He brought me by the way. He brought me through the path. He showed me the path. After all my troubles, See, these songs have meaning to all of us. God's been working with us for a long time. God's been trying to teach us, trying to wake us up, give us some understanding. Bring us into that place. With sweet smoke of rams. Oh, this sweet smoke of rams. Rams, something that exalts itself. See, exalts itself. I will offer these bullocks with goats, and bullocks with goats. A goat is something, this he-goat even, that exalts himself. These are always those that are exalted. They got horns or strength. See, the bullocks, even those young ones, that were for slaughter anyway, see, they only can get out and do damage, and it's all a young bullock can ever do. So they're singled out. They have a purpose from the day they're born. 16. Come and hearken, all you that fear God, and I will declare what he hath done for my soul. Come, gather up and listen. In other words, listen. All you that fear God, all you that have a reverence for God, a little respect for God, his law. See, you got a little knowledge, a little wisdom about you, something that causes you to want to observe God's understanding. Listen up, and I will declare what he's done for my soul. And I'll tell you what he's done for me. We'll find out what God's done. God's done no more for me than he'll do for anybody. Any living soul, any soul that lives, we know what it takes to live. Just turn from your sin. God says turn, and you'll live. 7. I cried unto him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. I cried unto God with my mouth, that which pours out my prayer, pours out my earnest expectations. He was extolled with my tongue. He was lifted up. He was exalted. to the height of the all heights. God was. 18. If I had regarded iniquity in my heart, the Lord would not hear. So if I would have regarded any iniquity, or if I would have favored perversions, if I would have favored transgression, if I would have favored that, God would not have heard me. God wouldn't even have listened to me. I was found in my sin, but when I heard God speak, that's the law. God spoke. I remember. Because see, it was wrote on my heart anyway. And in that moment we turn. See, we have to turn. We have to make a decision of what we're going to do. And it's when we turn to God, return to His law, come back to God's understanding. See, we're going to find out there's much blessing, there's much understanding that God wants to give you. 19. But truly, God has heard. He hath attended to the voice of my prayer. But truly, God has heard me. God has received my prayer. He has, because I have aligned myself. My prayer is the will of God. See, that is the will of God, that we turn. 20. Blessed be God, who hath not turned away my prayer, nor His mercy from me. Blessed be God. Blessed. All glory goes to God because it's His work. He done it. He done it. God did that for us, for me, for you, for all of us. And He's not turned away my prayer. When I cried to God from the grave, God heard me. See, that was the place. This is the place. I cry unto God. God going to give us out. Only God can deliver us from where God has put you. See, God put you there. If God put you in the place of transgression, God can deliver you from there. See, that's the law. His mercy, we'll find, endures forever. From generation unto generation, God is always standing there saying, turn. We're going to move forward. Psalm 67. Turn and return.